is that motherfucker. I think that became clear. Sorry. Am I allowed to say that, or am I going to get into
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
There is something beautiful about a man that played basketball at Northwestern after playing lacrosse, that has a mustache and looks like he should be in Super Troopers, is on a 2-way contract and can ball. Pat Spencer, baby. Let's talk about a performance that led to a win over the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road without anybody. They had somebody. Pat, baby. Pat!
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is good, everyone? Welcome to the Locked On Warriors. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Talking Golden State Warriors on this channel after wins and losses. Check us out live on YouTube, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Thank you for making us a part of your day and a part of your week. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. If you want to be in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com to place your NFL and NBA bets all season long. My name's Charlie Walter, cover the team on this show. My co-host tonight, damn it, Matt Kolsky literally left town. This coward, a cowardice move. He knew tonight was coming. So not only did he leave the town, he left the country. He's on a damn safari right now. I can't reach him. I texted him 17 times and said, Pat's a prince. And I've heard nothing. So he's probably getting some rest in a different time zone. But Pat Spencer, we are all witnesses of spin sanity. And if you don't know the reference, years ago, there was the Linsanity moment where a dude from Harvard burst onto the scene, undersized, hadn't really done much in his career, older for being a unseasoned player in the league. No one expected anything. And all of a sudden, Jeremy Lin carved himself out to the point where, he's on these cards nowadays. He's on Legends cards because he had such a moment. Pat Spencer's got a long way to go, but man, he's putting up epic performance after epic performance in the last 3 games, starting with Oklahoma City, then Philadelphia, 2 tough losses where at least in one of those games, he was taken out down the stretch. Today, he was given that opportunity to finish the game, and he hit some big shots in the fourth quarter. He goes 7 of 12, 3 of 4 from 3, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He's a dog. We don't need no cats. We don't need no meows. You need to be more like a dog. You don't need his fancy shoes. Anyways, if you get the reference, you get the reference. If not, Pat Spencer's a dog, everyone. 19 to lead the way. And he's always had that edge. I mean, he headbutted Şengün last year in the postseason. He don't give a damn. He says, I'm that mofo. Like, I saw a clip of him today, a montage of about 2 minutes of Pat Spencer just going ballistic. And he's got an edge, man. He's got an edge to him. The question has always been, does he have a jump shot? If you're undersized, you got to have somewhat of a jump shot. And it's been up and down. He's 43% from the floor on the season, but he's upped his three-point percentage to 39%. So when my co-host, Matt Kolsky, show after show says the guy can't shoot, what do I always say about the tapioca? The tail is in the tapioca. The proof is in the pudding. And Steve Kerr is loving what he's seeing from Officer Pat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pick and roll threat that he brings that is, he just takes care of the ball in 1 turnover in, 30 minutes tonight and 7 assists. He just gets us into, really good offensive rhythm and gets guys shots and just creates really good possessions. Even when we don't score, the possessions feel good when he's out there.
Steve, obviously he's got a lot of talent. What do you think has clicked the most for him here?
For Pat?
For Pat the last couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, we've seen the competitiveness. We've seen what a good player he is in the past couple of years, but he's really improved his jump shot. I mean, that's the big thing. He's last year he would turn down a lot of threes, drive in, shoot a lot of floaters, and he's never going to be Steph, but he's a threat out there, and that's what it takes. You have to be a threat from the line to be able to pull the defense out, and I just think the shot quality now that we're getting with him on the floor is way better than it was the last couple of years.
All right, Pat Spencer, certified dog, and his head coach that always, tinkers around with lineups, but when he finds something that he really likes consistently over time, he doesn't care where you were picked in the draft. He doesn't care if you're Ty Jerome or Anthony Lamb, if you're two-way players. If he likes you, he's going to play you. And when that player also is knocking down 40% from three and starting to, lead the team in like morale points, not only style points and literal points on the floor, but just he's got the right energy, man. Like you want to bet on a dog, and he's got it in him. So no more looking at where dudes were drafted. There are a lot of first round dudes on this team, and there are some second round guys. And I mean, Spencer not even drafted, but Gui Santos had another good game. Brings energy all the time. Energy, I should say. Quinten Post is not playing like a second rounder right now. It's time to just, today. I mean, you saw the minutes and how they were distributed throughout the game. 27 minutes from Gui Santos, who had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Gui Santos was really good. He got his moment today, and he hasn't gotten a ton of it this year. Gary Payton continues to play quality basketball, did a really good job on Donovan Mitchell, who was 11 of 26. And may I say, the Cavs as a whole struggled to shoot the basketball. 10 of 42 from 3, 24%. But hey, when you bring in energy and you're making the right plays and you're hustling, sometimes the basketball gods reward you. And they rewarded the Warriors tonight with Strus being out and at least a couple of their shooters being out. It was referred to in Post. So that's a nice win for the Warriors. But Pajimsky went 21. Moody went 20 minutes. Will Richard got his 21 minutes of run. Quinten Post led the way with 32 minutes and was huge in that pick and roll with Pat Spencer top of the key. And I thought Warriors got better shots. They only took 35 threes. They hit 13 of them. That's good for 37%. They got to the line 23 times. They knocked down 20 of them. And then in terms of rebounding, it was the Cavs 61 to the Warriors 46. But the Dubs threw some size out there. That's something that, look, the league changes all the time. It's cyclical, but we're seeing different iterations that work and don't. One of the things that's working right now is teams that are bigger. I mean, you look at the East, they got teams like, let's start in the West, I guess. The Rockets, obviously. The Thunder, obviously. But you look at a team like the Detroit Pistons that have big positional size, and a team like the Toronto Raptors that have a bunch of bigger wings that can get into the lane, that can get easier shots. It's kind of the way the league seems to be going right now. And the Warriors front office recognized it in the offseason, saying, like, we need positional size. The only issue is they didn't do anything about it. And the only route they can go internally is kind of the way they played tonight, going with some bigger dudes. Santos getting 27, like we mentioned, Post getting 32, and Trace Jackson Davis getting 16 minutes of run. He went 8 points, 5 rebounds, a block, and was a plus 15 to lead the way for the Dubs. So Pat Spencer helps get this team the win. But how were the Warriors able to not only win this game, but almost wire to wire? It felt like when they took the lead, they kind of stepped on it for a minute until the Cavs were able to make it a game late, and the Warriors hung on down the stretch. Breaking down how this entire thing went is straight ahead. And then we will get into some of the ancillary pieces of this game, of this road trip, and how the Warriors could potentially have Jimmy Butler and company back for their next contest in Chicago. Pat Spencer, our player of the game. We'll be right back.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
So it's brought to you by our friends over at DoorDash. You know what I'm going to say. When someone drops a 50 burger in the NBA, DoorDash is the place to go. And with the NBA season heating up, DoorDash makes every game night even better because it's the official on-demand delivery platform, and they're celebrating the bag drop. So every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, and it happens quite a bit, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day. You're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking inspired drip by the players, exclusive gear, stuff you'll actually want. It's not just for food. You can get everything from snacks to drinks to headphones, ice, socks, all delivered on DoorDash. So next time someone goes for 50, it's promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. All right, let's get back to the show.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
All right, the way this game started was much like the game started the other night in Philadelphia, where the Warriors could not score. They went for 10 in Philly. They went for 12 in Cleveland. The difference was, I think Philly went for 30 in the first quarter, and Tyrese Maxey outscored him. Today, Cleveland did not do nearly that. They had 18. And then the Warriors were able to take a stranglehold on this one in the second quarter and really lead wire to wire from there. I don't think the Cavs ever pulled it within, I don't think they ever tied it up. They pulled it within maybe a possession later in the game before the Warriors were able to hold them off. But you just saw what the Warriors were able to do in terms of the Cavs not being able to get anything they wanted. It was a lot of threes. It was a lot of jump shots. It was not a lot of clean looks at the basket. And I think a lot of that has to do with some of the size and the defense from Gary Payton in this one, and just the connective tissue of the defense. Everyone working well off one another. And even Kuminga, who played 22 minutes, had his by far the worst offensive first quarter I think he's ever had in his career. He was missing everything. His shot was getting blocked. Warriors, Steve Kerr was actually asked in the post-game presser by, I think, Friedel about Kuminga's game. And to paraphrase it, Kerr basically said, we're not going to turn this into a narrative, whatever. We got 15 dudes that we think can play on this team. He struggled tonight, 1 of 10 from the floor. I will say he crashed the glass with 7 rebounds, did have 3 assists to his 1 turnover. So didn't play well. And guess what? Gui Santos did. So that's the big storyline there in terms of Gui Santos getting some minutes and Gui Santos really balling out. There was one play specifically that I think showcased what Pat Spencer does so well, even as compared to someone like Pajimsky. What Pat Spencer does so well is he never picks up his dribble. He's always moving and, facilitating off the move instead of getting to a spot and then being in triple threat and looking around or whatever. He's always moving. He's always relocating. And there was that one play where he went to, it was post, I think top of the key to Spencer, and then Spencer hit Payton cut into the basket. And it was just a beautiful tic-tac-toe play that we see quite a bit with Spencer on the floor. And now that he's knocking down threes, look, he keeps defenders on his hip, which I think is beautiful, where he's kind of like the maestro. He's in control. He relocates. I mentioned he doesn't get stuck. I think he's a quick processor of the game. He's got an elite mustache. He talks trash, able to get to his mid-range, good passer. He's starting to really find his feel for the game. There were moments last year where I came on this program and was pretty high, I felt like. I was always more high than my co-host. Not in that way, but in terms of basketball, in terms of what Pat Spencer brought to the table, I always felt like Kolsky has been like, he's only on the team because the Warriors don't have any other options. And I've said from time to time, like, he's had some moments in the preseason when Steve Kerr was giving him the run with the first unit. It's because there's something there. I lost a little bit of faith in the postseason as a whole last year. Aside from going gladiator and the whole headbutt thing, he was not good. He looked overmatched. And one of the big things that Kerr was talking about is now he's got that jump shot. He trusts it from deep, and he's not getting stuck. He's not, pulling up from 7 feet amongst the trees and having his shots altered, anything like that. So what he can be is the Warriors' TJ McConnell. You want to talk about the easiest comparison in history, the laziest comparison, it's TJ McConnell. And he is a top 200 player in this league, despite what was said on the last show by our co-host. We're just coming after him tonight. I get this opportunity because last year in the postseason, for everyone that listens, the Rockets fans had a field day with me because he called me an idiot. I said Gui Santos should be playing over Kuminga right now. He's playing better basketball. Play the hot hand. And he said, Chuck, don't be an idiot. And when you come on the program and call the host an idiot, when you're not on the program, you get to be called an idiot. So anyways, I hope he's enjoying his vacation and gets service to read my text about Pat Spencer balling out here soon. And one of the unsung plays of this game that I did not get to that involved Pat Spencer is with 8 seconds left after Gui Santos missed a free throw. So Cleveland has the opportunity to potentially tie the game with a three. Donovan Mitchell misses a three. And who is there boxing out DeAndre Hunter, who's got like 7 inches on Pat Spencer? It's Pat Spencer boxing out. Hunter goes over the back. There's a foul. Pound your chest, big guy. Pound your chest for the pride of Evanston, Illinois. Northwestern. Lacrosse player no more. This dude can play some basketball. And his brother can play too, Cam Spencer, for the Timberwolves, or excuse me, for the Grizzlies. So, man, good stuff. Let's get into who the Warriors are playing next. That is the Chicago Bulls. We're going to talk about that. We're going to take a look around the NBA and tie a ribbon on this one. One more thing I want to get into in terms of Brandon Pajimsky. Steve Kerr said that one of the reasons he thought Pods played better tonight, one, his role was definitely reduced. He came off the bench. He played 21 minutes, which for Pods is not much at all. Took only 9 shots in a game where you needed someone to take shots. And it was Pat Spencer that took more than him. It was Quinten Post that took more than him. It was Buddy Hield that took as many as him. It was Gary Payton that took as many as him. It was not Pajimsky hunting shots by any means. And Steve Kerr said one of the things that he thinks Pods is doing too much is trying to do too much. And that when he lets the game come to him and not try to be a superstar, that he's actually a pretty good basketball player. And he kind of alluded to the fact that Pods tries to go hero ball maybe a little too much and do things that he's not capable of. And maybe it was Steve Kerr indirectly admitting this man's not who I thought he was. He's still a good basketball player, but he's maybe not 36 minutes a night and put the ball in his hands for 10 3-pointers in a night. Maybe 2 for 3 is a little more up his alley. And that's what he did today. We didn't mention it off the top, but at this point, I think you kind of got the notion based off who didn't play this game or based off who we haven't mentioned. Seth Curry was a DNP. DeAnthony Melton was a DNP. Al Horford was a DNP. Steph Curry was a DNP. Draymond Green was a DNP. And Jimmy Butler did not play as well. 6 Warriors were missing. And the Dubs are able to shorten the rotation. They go with 10 guys as compared to 14, and those 10 guys mesh together anywhere from 16 to Quinten Post game high 32 minutes. And they beat a Cavs team that were 14-10 entering the game, and they were 9-5 in Cleveland. It's not a great team right now, and it's one that was missing Jared Allen among others. I mentioned some of their shooters, and it's a team that did not shoot the basketball well. But hey, Warriors are able to get a win. That is what you call a scheduled loss that you win. That is our version of what Indiana did to the Warriors the day after Halloween. That is that type of win. Those go a long way. Will the starters, minus Steph Curry, play in that game against Philadelphia, against Chicago? Take 2. That's what we're talking about. Coming up, this is Locked On Warriors.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully, we'll never find out.
Today's episode is brought to you by America's #1 sportsbook. That is FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $20 off their first bet. Actually, bonus bets galore. $300 in bonus bets after you win your first $5 bet. So right now, FanDuel is the place to be. Why I love FanDuel is the live lines. It's one of my favorite things. Doesn't matter what point in the game it is. You can refresh. You can find good value. You can get in on the action. That is with FanDuel. The Warriors were not favorites in this game, but they take the money line over the Cleveland Cavs. A big, juicy one for those of you that got in on the action. FanDuel, again, you could place bets as the action unfolds. It really does keep you locked in on every snap, every drive, and every possibility. It's locked in for the Locked On faithful. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NBA and NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so do you. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Doer. We've told you about our favorite jeans wear, and the reasons why we love it is because it's comfy. It's as simple as that. It looks good and it's comfy. So it got the feel of athletic wear while at the same time being something that has that classic jeans wear style that you can wear out. It's made with Cool Max that regulates your body temperature and wicks away moisture. Whatever style you have, you can wear them to work. You can wear them on errands. You can wear them out to a nice restaurant. You can wear them to a fast food joint. Whatever it may be, Doer is the place for you. Don't take my word for it. Check them out. 567 Hayes Street in Hayes Valley. Great Christmas gifts, great Hanukkah gifts, great gifts in general. Use promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order. Shop Doer, DUER.com/LOCKEDONSF for 15% off your order. All right, around the NBA tonight. By the way, this shot is set up just terribly. All right, around the NBA tonight. The Atlanta Hawks win, the Brooklyn Nets win, the Detroit Pistons win. Let's run through some of these scores and what was done in these games. The Nets all of a sudden are kind of getting hot. As crazy as it is to say, they've played pretty good basketball over the last few weeks or so. They're 6-17. I think they were like 1-13 to start. Michael Porter is tearing it up. That's someone that you could potentially get in a trade, maybe. He's expensive, though. He did score 35 and had 9. Trey Murphy on the other side, potentially someone you could get in a trade. Also, 23 points for New Orleans in an 18-point loss. The Hawks, 131. The Wizards, 116. One of the really good young players in basketball that had leadership questions and maturity questions and how hard is he going to play questions coming out of Duke. It's shown that scouts are just sometimes so stupid. He's awesome. He had 30, 12, and 12 in the game today. So good to the point where Trae Young could be traded and you just run things through Jalen Johnson. That's your guy. Warriors, as we mentioned, get the win at Spencer with 19-7 to lead the way. Pistons beat the Bucks. Cade Cunningham, 23, 6, and 12. Kings beat the Heat by 16. Zach LaVine had 42. So we're still working our way down to see if anyone got that 50 tonight for the ultimate bag drop. 27 points for Jaime Jaquez and a loss for the Heat. The Wolves beat the Clippers 109-106. The Clippers are 6-18. 6-18 on the season. Timberwolves improved to 15-8. They hand the Clippers a 3-point loss. Harden had 34. McDaniels had 27, and no one got 50 tonight. The Mavericks, though, are starting to heat up a little bit. They're playing better basketball since Anthony Davis returned, and Anthony Davis is still really good. That's why I brought up his name on a show, and there's no need to spend more than 15 seconds on it. I would love to have Anthony Davis. I would make a way to get it done if you could. The issue is I don't really see how, A, you make the money work, and B, there is that longevity injury. Can he be healthy in the playoffs type thing? And you also have him for the next 3 years on a massive deal and aging legs. So aging, legs on a big frame. So who knows? But he had 29-8 and the Mavericks take down the Rockets. Next game for the Golden State Warriors is in Chicago at United Center. God, for those of you watching on YouTube right now, this camera is just falling away from me. And that's truly the worst shot in history. But at the end of the day, this is live production and we don't have time to get a photog in here. So the Warriors have the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls have been really in and out with their lineups. One thing is a constant. Josh Giddey is coming into his own. He's like a legit triple-double threat every single night. I want to say, I don't believe he's averaging a triple-double, but at this point, it's got to be somewhat close. I'll get you the stats real time. He's averaging 29 and 9. And by 9, I mean 9.9 rebounds. So we'll round it up to 10. 20, 10, and 9 is what Josh Giddey's averaging right now. Kobe White's their lead scorer, but he's kind of been in and out of the lineup, maybe with some load management, getting back on his feet. The whole DeAnthony Melton for the Warriors tonight. But if we see him against the Warriors, that's someone that can really score the basketball. And there were times that we brought him up on the show as someone that would actually help out Golden State. I don't know if that's going to be an opportunity that can ever be looked at, but he's someone that I would take, man. He can score the ball. Vucevic, someone that's been brought up many times. He's having a good season, 16 points, 9.5 rebounds. And then Ayo DeSumo is one of their other guys. Their young player to keep an eye on is Modest Buzelis. Hasn't had some unreal jump from his freshman to his sophomore campaign because he was trending upwards towards the end of last year when Billy Donovan started giving him some run. He's a local guy too, from up the road in Chicago, played his high school ball, and damn it, my Illinois knowledge. I'm forgetting the exact name of it right now. I'm sorry, as if the Bay Area audience, mostly Bay Area audience listening, gives it. Hinsdale. That's where it was. Final answer, Regis. But that's someone that can knock down some threes. He's extremely athletic. He's extremely smooth for his size and has yet to have that really big breakout game. But he's averaging 14 and 6 as a 21-year-old and plays in every game. He's played a team high 22. So you're going to see Modest Buzelis, and probably for the first time an emphasis on Buzelis, because last year when the Warriors played the Bulls, I don't think we thought much of Buzelis. Now we're actually talking about him as a player. But yeah, it's those five guys mainly. It's White, it's Giddey, it's Vucevic, it's DeSumo, and it's Modest Buzelis. And then, our old friend Kevin Huerter, that we've seen miss a lot of shots against the Warriors when he was on the Beam team. Isaac Okoro is a good player we know a lot about. Zach Collins. Patrick Williams has never been able to be, their lottery pick, but he at least plays in a lot of games and comes off the bench and holds down the fort. So that's a game that's going to be tough. And it's a game that you could really use Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green and DeAnthony Melton and maybe Al Horford and definitely Seth Curry. I'd like to see him again. So we'll see if the Warriors are able to pull that out. And again, it's a back-to-back. So some of the guys that had that youthful energy tonight and played with this young aggression that it felt like the Warriors brought to the table with the can we call them the B squad? Can we call them the G State? Like it's a lineup of guys tonight for the most part that, Gui Santos, Quinten Post, Pat Spencer. You go back 12 months ago around the time where Spencer, or I guess where Post was drafted. And all three of those guys were deemed as G Leaguers. And those were the guys that led you to a victory. And now those dudes have expended a lot of energy the last few games. They may need some rest. And maybe you need to rely on the guy you're giving damn near $60 million to and Jimmy Butler if he is ready to go. And I think that'll be the case. I think they held him out tonight for this scheduled loss and then said, we'll bring him back on Sunday to play against Chicago. And I think our chances are better winning that game with Butler and Green against Chicago. And you get a little bonus. You get a little freebie. Pat Spencer and the fellas taking down the Cleveland Cavaliers. One more time for the road, Steve Kerr.
Pat is that motherfucker. I think that became clear. Sorry. Am I allowed to say that, or am I going to get into
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right.
This is Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will talk to you after the Bulls game.